On this episode of Samp&Chance today, we are going to talk about the fights that happened this past weekend. We're also going to look ahead to some of the fights that are going on. Looks like to me, Chance, that we are in the summer break of boxing because no major fights until August 26th. But to find out more and all the details about this and everything else that's going on in the world of boxing, you got to tune in. So strap in and thank you for letting us into your year. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. Happy Thursday, everybody. I am Bobby Sampson, joined with my man, Mr. Chance, Michaels. Chance, how are you, brother?
Doing really, really well. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. What weekend's almost here. Everything is beautiful. Cannot wait. The weather is being hot but enjoyable. Yeah, no complaints here at all, man. Everything is beautiful. I was looking at the schedule and I realized I think this has to be boxing summer break. I'm looking at
A
the
little bit.
schedule.
I mean, there's not much this weekend, but
Well,
the weekend after that, you get Usyk and Dubois. So
yeah, we're basically we got a week. I say 11 days off
yeah.
from about 2 weeks from last Saturday to the next set of high televised fights and whatnot. We're looking almost 2 weeks time here, man. Which makes sense. I mean, we're gearing up for fall, which is already looking kind of stacked. But let's talk about the fights that we didn't get to cover due to all the great guests that we've had over the last little while. We haven't had a chance to preview the Joshua fight that happened. We didn't get a chance to talk about the Oscar Valdez and Navarrete fight. We didn't really get to make any predictions. So,
No.
I mean, overall, let's start with the Joshua fight. Your thoughts?
I mean, he knocked him out in the 7th round, but that was to be expected. I know Helenius took the fight on a few days' notice, but I mean, it was a waste of time. They should have just canceled it. I mean, you knew he was going to knock him out. I thought he'd do it a little bit sooner. I mean, Wilder did round 1, Joshua did in round 7. Everybody's saying Josh looks so great, but he beat up a journeyman at best. I mean, good for Helenius for taking the fight, but I mean, I don't make anything of it because he's supposed to beat that kind of guy. He's about 4 or 5 levels ahead of him in boxing. So it was easy work. It was a sparring session for him. He didn't even win one round. It was just an easy work and knocked him out like you should. So he's going to go fight Wilder. Hopefully, he got a super fight and he's going to get knocked into the 2nd row.
Let's see what happens. Well, here, look, first off, Robert Helenius, mad respect to him for saving the card, right? I mean, if Joshua didn't fight, if they canceled the card, I think Joshua would have been the only guy on that card that wouldn't have been affected if he didn't get his paycheck, right? The one thing I think people have to understand in boxing is that you do not get paid if you don't fight. It doesn't matter. It's not like UFC. If the other guy doesn't make weight or whatever the case.
Well, that's exactly why Bobby took the fight. He knew he was going to lose. He just wanted a quick payday. Yeah. And you could see that he wasn't even into the fight.
Well, it's for the other fighters as well. The guys lower on the card, right? I mean, if that whole card got canceled, all those guys would have been out of paychecks, right?
Yeah.
So, perspective. Well, they could have rescheduled it, but I mean,
they did it with Better BF, right? They're fighting in January now, so
yeah, they could have done it like that as well. But I mean, I think it all had to do with what is planned for January with him and Deontay, right? So, here's my takeaways from the fight. Yeah, he beat the guy and he was supposed to win. But I felt that Helenius fought him differently than he fought Wilder. Whereas when he fought Wilder, I noticed that he came straight into him, allowing Wilder to get that shot off right away, right? Where in this fight, I found Helenius to be more tentative, fighting from the outside and making Joshua work a little bit more to kind of come in. I feel that if he had walked in the way he did against Deontay, yeah, this fight would have ended earlier.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I think the biggest challenge that Joshua was facing out of this, regardless of how he won the fight, people were going to criticize it. If he won it too soon, oh, well, look at the guy he beat up, blah, 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 blah. The fact that he did in the 7th round, people are saying, oh, well, Deontay did it in 2 or Deontay did it in 1. But you have to look at the style of Helenius. Really, it came down to Helenius and the way he fought both guys, right? I'm not taking anything away you said. I see it as a glorified
sparring session. It was an easy layup for Wilder and Joshua. Easy work, knock this guy out.
Yeah, no, 100%.
That's the problem with boxing. You're not going to see that in UFC. You're not going to see
you're not
fighting a guy like that. It won't happen.
No,
he's
you're not.
Never fought that.
No, but I mean, again, and let's talk about what caused all of this. Dillian White, again, this is not the first time.
Yep.
You know, testing positive for a banned substance. I mean,
Yeah, he's cheating.
in
Yeah.
the world of boxing, with all the stuff that's going on with the Conor Benns and whatnot, especially in the UK, I'm not hearing too much about this in the stateside, but boxing has a bigger footprint in the UK than it does even in North America. Surprise, surprise, people. Boxing is bigger in the UK than it is here in America, 100%. So they take that shit really, really seriously. So it's really surprising to see another UK fighter of a higher level, like a Conor Ben, getting, you know, done in for something like this again. Like, what's Dillian
They're
thinking,
cheating.
man?
They're just they're simple as if they're cheating. They know they're cheating, just like Canelo did. A lot of fighters have. They're just trying to get the edge, and they got caught. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You know what he was doing. He thought Josh was a better fighter, and he'd edge him and dope up, and he got caught. So I'm glad he got caught because
But the
he knew what
way
he was doing.
But the way they play it out, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. Like, I mean,
They
it's
all
kind
say
of
that.
funny. Carl, I don't think it was Carl Froch. I don't know if you saw it or not, but Derek Chisora was talking to, oh, I can't remember who it was, another British analyst. And he was basically saying that he called him a few days before saying, yeah, he's going to test positive for the test. And I don't know who Derek Chisora knows, but he has the making of a promoter later on in his career if he really wants to, man. This guy's got
Yeah,
his ear to the ground. He already apparently, according to him, he apparently knew that Dillian White had already tested positive, and chances were that he was going to fight Joshua instead.
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, man. It's frustrating. It truly is, right?
He's a cheater. He's just a cheater. He tried to cheat, just like Canelo got caught cheating. Eventually, they might get away with it for a few fights, but eventually they keep cheating when they get away with it, and eventually they get caught. The testing is so good, and they're gonna get caught. Same with
Yeah.
John Joe. All the guys that cheat, they get caught eventually.
No, 100%. All right, let's move over. So let's hop on a plane and let's get to Arizona for this next fight. Oscar Valdez against Navarrete for the WBO 130, 135, 130,
130.
130 title on the line. These guys were supposed to fight for it when it was vacant, but unfortunately, Valdez suffered an injury in training, so they postponed the fight. Navarrete went on to win that title, so now this was his first defense of that title. Wow, what a war!
Mexican War, they call it. You know, and it was maybe one of the best fights of the year, if not the best fight of the year, as far as action, intensity.
No,
It was
back and forth,
wall to
through and
wall, bell to
through.
bell action.
Yeah, Navarrete did not look like he took a shot. He took a lot of shots, but compared to Valdez's face, I mean,
Oh, his eye.
if there was ever a time to say that you don't play boxing, look at his face, and that should be the tagline. You don't
Yeah,
play boxing, right? Those guys went to war. Corrales, Eric Morales was in the crowd. I mean, those guys were there. Chavez Senior was in the crowd. So yeah, even the Mexican legends knew that this was something, you know, of the next generation of great Mexican wars, right?
it was. It was.
Uh, do you see this being a trilogy or a part two at least coming
No,
down the
it was
way?
he made it was a great fight, but it wasn't really close. I mean, 8 rounds to 4, 9-3 kind of thing for Navarrete. Gales got hard of as a warrior. He took a great beating. They could have stopped it maybe earlier. The doctor's corner, his eye was pretty bad. He
Yeah,
wasn't winning the fight. I'm
no,
not saying
well,
they could have, but they could have.
I think
Navarrete is just too big. He could throw punches from anywhere. He's too strong. He hits hard. He's always
well, that's
moving.
the thing. That's the thing,
And
right?
Gales kept left hooks. He got him on a few stuff, but I mean, Navarrete. He don't. I won't say he dominated, but he won not fairly easily, but he won convincingly.
Well, let's look at it from this perspective. I mean, Navarrete threw over 1,000 punches in this fight, right? Not saying he landed 1,000 punches, but he threw over 1,000. So I mean, punches and bunches, he was connecting. The problem, and I'm not
And
saying it's a problem per se, but the fighting style that Oscar initiates for the most part is that of a sniper, in my opinion. He's looking for precise shots, and that's what I think cost him in this fight. Is that he wasn't throwing to throw; he was throwing to aim to throw. You know what I mean?
well, he
And
was getting hit with some pretty heavy shots. I think he was
no,
getting a little
he was.
his back up a bit.
Yeah, no,
Feel
he
power.
was right. And I think he came in with the wrong game plan. I'm not taking anything away from Oscar Valdez. I think he's a great fighter, but I just think he came in with the wrong strategy and the wrong approach to this fight in terms of, success. Navarrete just came out as a brawler, right? I mean, he came out hard. Word has it now that Lomo might be the next guy for Navarrete. What do you think about that?
Bob said that Lomo's not fighting for the rest of the year because he's worried about the war in Ukraine.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I say do it. If
Yeah.
they want to do it. I'd rather see Lomo versus Shakur myself, just because
No,
Shakur's a bigger name for Lomo. Lomo doesn't need to fight a Navarrete at this point. His name value is not enough for Lomo's name value is. Not saying that it'd be easy work for Lomo. Who knows who wins that? But Lomo should fight Shakur because they both got the name value. That's a big pay-per-view.
yeah, I know. And Shakir said, yeah, I'm down for that. But first I need to go grab a strap at 135. He wants to finish
Yeah.
that off, right? So I mean, there's a lot of working pieces here, and I think things will start to come closer and closer together.
All under the top rank in Bella, so we can make these fights pretty easily.
It's going to be really interesting to see, right? I mean, today we
Teofimo's
had.
around too. He's going to fight somebody soon. Let's hope.
Well, look at that whole division there, man. I mean, throw Abel in there now as well, right? Abel's down to the 140 crew as well. So between 135 and
I
140.
don't think Abel will be quite in the mix there because he just lost his last fight, but he's around there, but not quite with those guys.
No. But I think based on what he was telling us and everything, like, his power and everything will be better for him down there. I think he can ascend up there pretty quick.
He can hold his own with those.
He can hold his own, right? I don't,
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from him. I mean, until we see him in there with one of those guys, we truly don't know, right?
Yeah.
But I think he's a bright addition to that division, Abel Ramos. I think, he's going to have some fun down there. But I mean, like I said, that's a murderer's row down there, man. Right from Shakur to Haney to Tio to Lomo to, it's like lions, bears, and tigers. Oh my, right? It's a murderer's row down there.
It is. It's some of the best talent in boxing is all in that weight class, and they can go
Right.
5 pounds down.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have the potential. Like, I mean, you just look at all those guys that I named. That could be, they have the potential of being the next four kings, right? Where they all fight each other. And it would be great. I mean, hands down, 2023 has probably been the best boxing of this century so far. The quality of the fights and everything that we've gotten this year, right? Like, I mean, we've got
that's in the last recent memory, last 5 years.
We've had great fights every year, okay, but they've been far and in between. And those fights, Pacquiao Floyd was a monster fight because there was nothing else.
Of all time, still.
Right. Because there was nothing else there throughout that whole year. Tell me anything else that happened that year.
Well, no, that's not why. It's because of the two most popular guys.
No. I get it. But that helped. Right? And that was the trend for many years in boxing up until this year. I just feel this year in particular, we're getting month after month right now of great fights. Right? Not every weekend, but every month there is a good quality, great fight that is finally coming together. No, 100%. So Canelo and Charlo, they started their press conference tour. It's a 2-day tour.
Boring, lame. It was no action. There's no. I mean, they were respectful of each other, but you want to sell in a big fight here, like give us something. Like that was just a big waste of time.
I think both guys, even afterwards, they talked about it, and even the PBC crew was saying like, wow, there were no fireworks here, like they're showing.
I was surprised,
right? I think everybody was surprised, but like I think Canelo said it, and even Charlo said it. Like, look, you know what? If the fight sells itself, I mean, look at the guys that are in here and this and that, and I'm sure things will get salty a little bit later, but we're still early, right? We're kind of early into this.
They don't. There's no bad blood here. It's just two guys that are fighting for cash.
Well, it's kind of funny what they said too.
And I'm not knocking them for it, but that's why they're not.
No, and I get it, right? It's let's see what they do. Let's see. Like we got LA, right? So they have their little junket that they're doing right now. New York, we've already seen. LA, I haven't had the chance to see it yet. But like just based on what we've seen so far, Charlo was saying that I don't know if he's pissed off at his brother because his brother's saying that, yeah, after this fight, I'll fight him next. So he's already dismissing Mel, saying that he's not going to beat him.
Listen, yeah, that's true. But listen to this. I was checking the ticket prices today. For one seat, Top Bowl, T-Mobile Arena. Guess how much it is Canadian?
2,000.
735.
So converted to
the bottom bowl, you're playing 2K.
Yeah. No, well, let's think about it. That's Canadian funds, right? So 750 converted, it's about $1,200, $1,300.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean,
I'm just telling you that, and they'll sell that place out, no problem.
it's already sold out.
Yeah, so he did it on the third hand market. But yeah, Canelo has the most expensive ticket. Every time he fights, you can't get into his fights for $600 Canadian, easy. He's a big draw, right?
And they asked him too. They asked him at the press conference, like, so, you got Mel now, but, are you going to take Wald next? He goes, no, that's not the plan. So who knows what?
Why should he fight the brother? Just because he's his brother? I don't blame him.
Well, he's just saying because he's technically the guy that they were trying to get first,
Mhm.
right? They didn't get him. They got the younger one, right? Or the other brother, the 154 bro, right?
Yeah.
Mel. So, but
I've never cheered for Canelo in a fight before, except when he fought Floyd. That's the only time I will cheer for him because I'm not a big fan. The Charlie brothers are good boxers. I'm just not a fan of their personalities, how they act. So I'm going for Canelo on this one. I never cheer for the guy, but be the one fight that I hope he wins. I think he will, but it should be a good fight.
I mean, they didn't. I won't say Mel, but Jamal did not really show himself well during the Spence Crawford weekend, to be honest. Pushing the lady.
Well, that's how the Charlie brothers act. They're classless guys.
Well, I mean,
pushing ladies, like, what's that about?
Well, I mean, I don't know what Jamal has ever done, to be completely honest. I'm only basing it on the Jamal situation, right?
Yeah.
And pushing the old lady, Caleb punching or slapping him in the face. I mean,
good for Caleb,
right? I mean, that's how you get a fight.
Yeah, there's some bad blood there,
right? You have to physically go out and punch the guy you want to fight in the face to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean,
and there was supposed to be a good big fight this weekend, but it got postponed until January 26th. Better be versus Callum Smith. It was supposed to be this Saturday. It's not happening. No. Go down in January, so that's a good fight too.
That's going to be an interesting fight as well. Charlo looked big.
Yeah, he's in good shape. He's a big guy.
He looks really, really good. He looks really good. Canelo talked about the Bivol fight today as well, talking about why it's not happening and everything we already know. It's like, Canelo said that he started asking for things.
I could see that.
Weight class, this, and this. And, Canelo said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to fight you at 168. I'm not going to do what you're asking. So that's why he moved on to John Ryder and Triple G3. That's why those fights happened. Interesting comment that he also made today that I want to bring to light, that he said that Canelo Promotions and PBC are the best two promotions going today. Shot at Eddie Hearns, I don't know.
I think it's more of a shot at Top Rank. Eddie's kind of probably the third down the line there.
Yeah. So, but the best fights are for him in PBC right now. So, I mean, he's doing the right thing. So that's coming up September 30th. T-Mobile Arena. Oh, shout out to Jose Benavides Jr. He claimed victory this past weekend with the TKO victory as well. So shout out. Yeah. Good for him. Really happy. Talked to coach and everything is beautiful. The team's doing great. Everyone's happy. Just trying to figure out what the next steps are. So
I seen an interview today with Benavides. It's either happening in LA or obviously LA or Vegas. So
So we're looking at November bout for David Benavides against Bubo Andre.
I hope it's in Vegas. It's a better place to visit, so I hope they do it in Vegas. But LA is
Vegas is fine. But you know what, LA might be a little fun too. I mean, it's been a long time since being down there, so let's find out. Let's see what's going on. All right, brother, man. I tell you what. Why don't we wrap this puppy up here? Like I said, it's a quiet couple weeks here in the world of boxing, but that's not going to stop us from coming back and telling you what's going down. Guys, make sure to check us out on all our socials and all the good things that we provide content on. Subscribe and like and do all that good stuff. Chance, you got anything today? Anything happened today?
I do. This day in boxing history, you just mentioned him earlier. Eric Morales knocked down Angel Chacon round 2 in Vegas to win the WBC Junior Championship. There you go. We talking about Mexican Warriors. There's a Mexican Warrior right there. Featherweight.
That dude was a dirty fighter, wasn't he?
1999. He was. Yeah.
Yeah, I went back. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole afterwards, and I've seen them both fight and everything, but they made so much of an emphasis on Corrales and Morales being there, right? I mean, because of their wars and everything. So they were kind of front and center with Bob Arum on either side of Bob, and you see stuff like that, and he makes me wonder, like, fuck, man, the amount of stuff that Bob's done. right?
Greatest boxing promoter of all time. It's not even close. He's 91 and still at the fight. Still putting on big fights. Look at the fight he
Like
just put on.
his mind is so sharp still to
Oh
this,
yeah,
like, you know.
he runs everything, man. He's like Vince
Yeah.
McMahon. He
Like I
is
was listening, he was
the
doing an
final.
interview and he was talking about Haney, he was talking about Lomo, and he was talking about Tank and Inoue and whatnot. And you know, he didn't miss a beat. Like he
Oh,
answered questions so well, articulate. He truly is an old school guy. Like, I mean, I love hearing those guys talk because
me
they're
too.
articulate. You know, they leave you hanging on their words.
They don't
And
give you too much. They give you just a little. He knows how to sell, so he still does that. He
no,
only
he
gives you
he
a
gives
little.
you enough, and he basically said that a lot of the matches that people are talking in regards to Nue and you know Lomo going down or Haney going this way or this and that, because they're all bullshit fights. None of it makes sense,
Yeah, I love when he says that.
right? You
He
know,
actually had a
so
funny comment. He's like, the new way is better than Pocket. That's just the way Bob sells it, right? Like, he's not going to win 8 belts in 8 different weight classes. He's too small. But just for him to say that, one of his best fighters ever, that's the way Bob is. He's, okay, Pocket, you know what? I adopted you. I put you up for adoption. Here's my new guy. You know what I mean? That's the way Bob works. He's like Vince McMahon. When you're fighting, you love you. If not, we're just going to sell this guy. This guy is better than you. That's what a promoter does.
I
Whether
think
it's right or wrong, it's what they
I
do. And I don't blame them.
I'll give you a great example of what you just said in terms of wrestling: Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
In 1994, McMahon said to Hogan, "Hey, look, I think this Hulkamania thing's starting to die out.
He was right.
And he goes, "Okay, fine." So Hulk left and did what he did in NWO and whatnot, right? So a prime example, when not saying that he's going to discard you, but he'll rebrand you and make you into something else, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it
Aaron
completely.
McMahon is smart enough to know it's a young man's game, and when you get too old, if these guys don't want to leave, they're going to push you out.
I want to mention something. I forgot to mention this on our wrestling show. I'm only going to mention it here because you talked about the ticket prices, right? So for WrestleMania, the cheapest ticket is $70 and the most expensive is 10,000.
It's crazy. Well, thanks for bringing that up. 2 years ago today, honestly, I'm talking about history. I just thought about it right now. 2 years ago today, I was at SummerSlam. I watched all of SummerSlam, and I walked over the bridge down to the T-Mobile Arena and watched Pocky versus Egos. That was 2 years ago today.
That's fantastic,
So,
man.
big day. Yeah, and I walked
in
into SummerSlam. I walked up to the door and I paid $35.
Great value.
Wrestling is the best bang for your buck for big event. No, nothing compares.
Well, they had it at Allegiant, right?
Allegiant, yeah, sold out.
Yeah, sold out. Right there, you go. Awesome.
Can't beat it.
All right, Chance. That's it, I guess. Let's wrap this up and let's move on and carry on with the rest of our day and let's enjoy the weekend, guys. If you have nothing to do, and I'm going to probably put this in a short post as well. Yours truly will be ring announcing down at Hastings Parks this Friday. Do you want to give a little bit more details on what's going down there?
It's called CWU, Canadian Wrestling Unlimited, this Saturday, 7 o'clock. What's going on is there'll be a wrestling match from the horse races. So basically, in between each horse race, about 15 to 20 minutes of dead air. The Hastings racetrack, because it's summertime, they're trying to keep the party going. Last week, they had a cigar and wine festival and whiskey festival. I know I was there with my kid. Obviously, couldn't go in there, but we were there. And then on some business, and then we were watching the horses. They had probably over 1,000 people in there just doing that cigar stuff. So this weekend, it's wrestling. This is the last outdoor show. The rest of the wrestling shows will be October, November, December, indoors underneath the bleachers. So go watch it. Yours truly, Bobby Sampson, in the ring announcing, and should be some good action. So 7 o'clock, Hastings track. First bell goes.
There you go, man.
Very,
very well said. So bet on some ponies and check out some ponies in the ring. We're gonna have it all there for you guys. And like Chad said, I will be there as well. I will ring announce, and you can hear the beautiful voice of Bobby Sampson live.
Yep.
Okay, guys, on that note, let's wrap this puppy up. Let's save our voices and our energy for this weekend. I am Bobby Sampson. Right over there is my man, Chance Michaels.
In the words of the great AC/DC, those that like, download, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And guys, in the words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp&Chance. Everybody, please have a blessed weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. If you're going to drink or drug, enjoy it. Have at it. Just have someone take you home. Don't be stupid and fuck yourself and fuck other people up.
Yeah.
Samp&Chance out. Have a great weekend, everybody.